I'm a trucking across the USA. Yeah, I'm trucking just about every day. Yeah, I'm trucking. So what you got to say? I'd like to hear it today. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd like to hear it today. Trucker John OTR. Tuesday, Thursday, live streaming on YouTube, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Won't you join me, please?
Yeah! I am at the Mountaintop Cafe, or whatever they call it here in, just out of Phelan, California.
From somewhere in the United States of America.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the United States of America. Shut that guy up. The hell? I was talking, and the guy over there, what? Shut up! Hey, where's everybody?
The United States of America. Shut that guy up.
Shut that guy up. Ain't gonna shut me up. Just kidding. Okay, so here I am. I got my Stephanie Miller I got vaccinated shirt. This is from like a couple years ago. I'm vaxxed. Boosted multiple times, and I'm ready to go. I just had breakfast over there at Mountaintop Cafe, and I got a feeling they must have bought like a whole shitload of these things, and now they're just trying to get rid of them. They're giving them away for free. Wipes. So that I got that going for me. That was a nice little thing. Always good to have these wipes in the truck because you get dirty. What can I say? Even if I'm not under the hood, you know, I'm not changing out stuff. I'm not a mechanic, but just being out in the world here, you get dirty, you get grimy, you get oily, you get diesel fuel on you. So it's always good to have a wipe. That's what I got to say about that. All right, so we got Jolie. How you doing, Jolie? We got Kiki Streets in the house. I'll tell you what, work is work. It's just work. It's just driving. It's just driving. You know, I did kind of screw up, man, because, I mean, I don't know if I screwed up, but I was taking a load down to Tucson, Arizona, and I was supposed to get it in earlier. I don't know what happened. There was rain and traffic. But I ended up getting there, but it just created this domino effect. So then my next load, I was able to pick it up, but actually when I got there, so I did all this, all this angst and all this, you know, like, maybe I'll shut this engine off for a little bit. It's pretty loud. But, so I'm worrying about this other load that's up in Casa Grande, but then when I get there, the load wasn't even ready. You know, that's one thing. So then I got there, and then they got the load for me, and finally I picked up the load Monday night. Wait, Sunday night. No, Monday night. No, Sunday night. I get my days all screwed up. No, it was Sunday night. So I drive up from Tucson up to Casa Grande, get that load, and then by then I'm almost at an hour, so I parked at a rest area for the night, right there on Interstate 10. Just north of Casa Grande, and so I was hoping to get that load to Modesto yesterday, but since everything got kind of, you know, moved, now I'm not going to be able to deliver it until today. And well, here's the thing about that load. Okay, so Sunday night, the guy goes, "Well, go ahead and drop your trailer, go park. We'll call you when it's done." And then I'm like, okay. And then they call me, and when you go to his little shipping office, it's like they've got a glass thing. It's like a bank teller thing almost, with a little slot at the bottom, and you can slide the paperwork into them and out to them. And this guy asked me 3 times for the bill of lading number. 3 times. I saw him write it down. and he said, recite it back to me to make sure we make sure I got it right. And I recited it back to him. Okay. So then, now part of this is my fault. So he goes, okay, come get your paperwork, and here's the trailer, go hook it up or whatever. So I go get the paperwork, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. He's like, I don't know, he seemed like he was in a real hurry or something. He's like, okay, here it is. Just go ahead. You know the procedure. Go check the back of the load, make sure it's doesn't need a load strap or something, and then put this other seal on it and all that, blah, blah. And he hands me the paperwork. Well, and I had signed it already. I had already signed it and dated it. And then he gives me the paperwork. And then I guess, I don't know, the bad thing I did is I didn't check that paperwork to make sure that it was the right bill of lading number and to make sure that it was going to the right place. Those are like kind of like, that's like, what do you call it? That's what you got to do. That's like a cardinal sin not to check those things. Apparently I didn't check it. So he gave me the wrong paperwork. And I didn't catch it until yesterday when I was already in California. And I was stopped. Actually, I was right at the California-Arizona state line at the Flying J. I was still on the Arizona side. And there's, right when you cross the river is a check station where they check your bills of lading. So I was eating lunch in here in the truck, and I just thought, well, let me look at the paperwork. And I looked at it, and I'm like, oh shit, they have this going to this other place. And then I checked the bill of lading number and didn't match the one that it was supposed to be. And I was like, fuck. I got the wrong paperwork, and I'm already like 300 miles away or whatever, a few hundred miles. And I don't want to have to go all the way back. So I call my driver manager person, whatever you call it. And I said, hey, I explained the situation to him. And then they call customer service, and they said, yeah, it looks like you got the right load, because that was the other thing too. Did they even give me the right load? Is the load I'm carrying supposed to go to this other address, or is it just a mix-up in the paperwork? And she said, yeah, that other load that looks that you have the paperwork for, that already got picked up and is being delivered or whatever. So you've got the right load, but you just have the wrong paperwork. So then I'm like, well, can they just fax me or, the bill of lading? So I don't want to go all the way back and everything. They're like, yeah, let's see. And there's another thing I screwed up on. I guess you're supposed to carry blank bills of lading for these type of emergencies. And I know for a fact, I used to have a whole book of those things, and I used to keep them right up here in this cubby hole. And so I'm looking like I'm on the phone with her going, I know I've got some in here, because she said, do you have any of those blank bills of ladings that you could use? And I go, yeah, I do. And then I was looking and looking, I couldn't find them. And so the only thing I could figure is I stuck them someplace else, or maybe after, you know how you keep something for like 10 years and you never use it, and you're like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to need this, and you toss it out. I think that might be what I did. I think I tossed it out. And so I didn't have it. So what she ended up doing was she emailed me basically because Schneider has their own blank forms of these that you can fill out, a bill of lading form. And so she sent me that through my Gmail, and so now I have it electronically. I just have to find a place, probably the next truck stop I go to. I think I can just I think they have copy services where I can just send that to their copy machine, and they can make a copy, like a hard copy for me. Anyhow, so that was the thing. So how's work? That's the thing. I fucked up. They fucked up. We all fucked up. It's just one of those things. I guess it happens. That's life. But so I'll get that squared away. And I just before I came on the air here, I was looking at the load board, and I booked another load because I'm going to Modesto, and I'm going to be picking up a load just right out of there, near that area, and taking it up to Hermiston, Oregon, which is like Eastern Oregon, and the only two things that in there that I ever deliver to is either uh, Walmart. There's a Walmart DC, or there is this potato place. It's they make potato chips. I forget the name of it now. But yeah, those are the only two things that I ever go to. So this one here looks like I'll be going to, let's see, because they sent me the pre-assignment on here. I will be going to Walmart. Yeah, okay, so I'm delivering to Walmart up there. So probably if all things go right, if it all goes well, hopefully I'll be delivering, get that delivered up there by Friday, I guess. Did you notice I've been working extra hard? I got my graphics floating behind me magically with electronically. I know it looks like big, just like envelopes that I wrote on, but it's not. See, I was going for that effect. That's like a thing I made. So do that. That took a lot of time and brain power to figure it out how to make a graphic that will just stay right there, and it looks like an envelope that's hung up by duct tape. But that's the genius of it, I guess. So, anywho, I wonder if do I have to lean over here now so people can see it? Because I'm over here and then I'm blocking it. You know, kind of ruins the thing. You know, it is amazing. It's truly, truly amazing. So yeah, and when I was down in Tucson on Sunday, well, I was coming down from the north, from Vegas and stuff, and there was kind of off and on rain, and then actually coming down through Utah, man, there was just these monsoon torrential downpours that we'd go through, and then when I got down towards Tucson, it started again. Well, just kind of, actually, it was kind of sprinkling, but there were the light show as it got dark, and this lightning storm was rolling through Tucson. It was amazing. And my dash cam's not working, but that probably would have picked up some really cool lightning on the dash cam, but that thing's not working. But the lightning storm was amazing. There's this rock formation kind of between, if you ever want to Google map stuff, kind of between Tucson and Casa Grande. It's called Picacho Peak, and it's right off of the interstate, so you just drive right by it. But it's just basically this big giant rock formation that kind of goes up into a big kind of chimney looking thing, and it's very prominent. You can see it from 50 miles away or whatever, 100 miles away. I mean, it's just this prominent thing, and it was really cool, like the way that it was dark, but you could see clouds, and you could kind of see the peak, and then the lightning would just brighten everything up for like a second. You know how lightning does. It was like something out of a movie. It was really awesome. Wish I could have somehow captured that, but anyhow, so there was this giant lightning storm going on, and then the rains. It had been raining earlier, I guess, but I kind of was lucky in that I was kind of in between the big monsoonal downpours, but there was a lot of flash flooding going on in the area, and then that storm, I think, just carried on, and then so you hear about in the news. I was seeing how in Arizona, places there people were getting trapped and from flash flooding, and then it just moves across the country, and so the storms are coming. All you people out there, these storms are, I guess, going to keep going across. So just be careful. Don't get caught out in a flash flood. Get the higher ground if you see the water coming. So yeah, I went through a few of those. You know how you get those like amber warnings or whatever on your phone? Well, I get these. I guess everybody does. If you're going through some sort of weather event, all of a sudden it's like you get this big alert. It's like flash flood warning, flash flood warning. I probably got at least 3 or 4 of those on Sunday, mainly on Sunday, I think. But fortunately, I was just on the interstates. See, that's another thing. I picked up that load going down to Tucson. I picked it up in where did I get that? Where did I start out? Up in Salem or whatever, and or it was in Troutdale. Yeah, it was by Portland. So and the routing, and I knew that all these storms were kind of coming through and everything, and they had all this routing going through little mountain highways and little 2-lane roads and all that stuff. And I just said screw it, and I just stayed on the interstate the whole way. And really, it's only a few miles further, and it's probably actually quicker. But the computer, they just see, oh, it's 5 miles shorter to go this way through the mountains, not taking into account that you're driving an 18-wheeler for one thing, and not taking into account that those roads are windy a lot of times, and there's like stop signs and little towns you got to go through, and it so usually if the interstate kind of loops out and has an extra 50 miles or 100, even 100 miles further, it's still probably worth it and better just to stay on the interstate than it is to take that windy mountain road. You know, they think you're driving in a Ferrari or something, but it's, you know, they need to make these navigation things more, you know, truck friendly, I think. So now I'm still drinking my coffee, and I had coffee over there. There's a couple of bikers just showed up. See there? Oh, they're getting their breakfast, and I guess I kind of zoomed that in a little bit, didn't I? So anyhow, today's program is called "Opinions Are Like dot dot dot," and you know, fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Hopefully. And I got mine, that's for sure. I got my opinions. We all got our opinions. You know, I was thinking, here's what I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about answering this it's if you guys have been on here, my crazy right-wing nut job cousin Dan, he comes on here. That's Danny Rock, right? He comes on here a lot, and you'll see he posts like weird shit, right? And I was thinking about maybe answering that one of them on this podcast here. Podcast. Oh, I call it a podcast. That's another thing. Okay, what is a podcast? To me, a podcast is audio, but a lot of people are making these live streams and calling them podcasts. I'm stubborn that way. I think a podcast is audio. It comes from the old iPods when they put audio shows on the iPods. That's a podcast. I don't call this a podcast. Some people call these blogs. Blogs are written. It's like you're just writing your shit out and posting it on, like, I don't know, Reddit or whatever. Some people call them blogs. Okay, to me, blogs, that's not live. It's kind of the same thing, but it's not. But it's not live. It's just it's like a video that you make of you talking and shit, but it's not live. Okay, this is a live stream. I call it a live stream. I gotta roll down these windows because it's getting hot in here. If you don't run the same with the AC, it gets, and the windows are up, it gets really hot and stuffy. So anyhow, I'm just trying to find that it's hard to navigate. Sometimes I think the way things are formatted on an iPhone and an iPad are different than even a laptop. And and it's just weird. Okay, so this was from 2 days ago. My crazy right-wing nut job cousin Danny Rock, he left this comment. You may have seen it. Let me go ahead and read it. Okay, it says, I have no other way to contact you, so here I am, contemplating a commentary you had made regarding truth, and my addition to it highlighting on how to discern what exactly the truth is. I.e., because somebody said something doesn't make it so, and vice versa. My thoughts lead me to our U.S. Constitution and how it's supposed to be our foundation for truth. Of course, we can debate on issues as they arise. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is the one I was thinking about doing, but since I'm here. Okay, first of all, yeah, Dan, you have no other way to contact me because I have blocked him on every other every other social media outlet that I have. And look, he's my cousin. I love the guy. He was like a brother. We grew up. I still love the guy. I love my brother and sister. We don't talk. I still love them too. And we haven't talked really since Trump became president, or about a year or two maybe after. But the thing about Danny is, on every single, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, not too much Twitter. I don't think I saw him on Twitter, but mainly Facebook, Instagram, and then now YouTube. It was like he's like a stalker or something. I mean, leaving all these really long texts on my DMs. He's DMing me at all hours of the day, all hours of the night. Every feed I had, like, it didn't matter. It wasn't even political. I could have a feed just on saying happy birthday to somebody, and then he would go in and jump in on there and go, hey, did you see this about that? Here's a link to this, and here's a link to that. Would you blah 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 about, you know, and Trump is great and whatever. It could just be, you know, a thing. Hey, nice car. Something about a car. You know, hey, nice car. And it could be, he'll jump in and put a whole long fucking thing of bullshit, right? So I just started blocking him, and he's, out of all the people in my whole family, he's the only one I've ever blocked. Now, I think I've had other people block me. I think my sister's blocked me. I know she unfriended me. My brother, I don't know if he's unfriended me or blocked me, but he never, ever, ever, you know, gets a hold of me or anything. And I never blocked them. The only person I ever blocked was Danny, and it's only because he will inundate every feed, every post, every DM outlet or whatever with garbage, complete fucking garbage. And I got sick of it. I just got sick of it. So I felt like I was being stalked, actually. That's the feeling, and harassed. And I can tell you the stuff that he posts, like a couple months ago, he said, please watch this video. This girl, she's a young girl, and she's really smart, and she has a lot of great things to say. Please check it out. So I'm like, okay, and I checked it out, and let me tell you, it's about 6 minutes and 43 seconds of my life that I will never get back, because it was just this vapid fart air. It meant nothing. That video of this girl was just saying bullshit, word salad bullshit. It meant nothing, and I don't know what he thinks that's so great. And she had like one video, and she was, you know, so yeah. So in reply to that, I mean, that's why I've blocked him. And the thing about YouTube is, I guess you can't post links in the thing, so that's a godsend, I guess. So yeah, I just was addressing that. So if he sees this, that's why, Danny. It's fine. I'll leave you on YouTube, but I just don't want to be harassed with your garbage because it's garbage. Everything you've ever sent me is garbage. I'll admit I haven't read everything. I didn't click on everything, but the few that I did, the sampling that I did of the shit that you post or that you post for me to look at, it's just garbage. It's fucking ridiculous bullshit, and I don't know how someone could base their their positions, their political positions, based on what the shit you send me, and how you misread it and you twist it. It's just it's mind-boggling. Yeah, Jolie. So Jolie says, I have a Trump family. My kids and I are the only liberals. My family gives us a hard time all the time. Well, I have I have a lot of family, and quite frankly, since I've been driving, I've really fallen like out of touch with people, even before Trump and before, because Trump really turned up everything, um, and so in large part, the only way I really have any connection with a lot of my family is just through social media, mainly Facebook, um, and so there's this, my mom's side of the family. I see them on all the time, and I'm pretty sure they're probably conservative and they're probably MAGA or whatever. But they're smart. They don't post any of that shit. They post their family stuff, which I love to see, and all the kids, and there's kids and there's grandkids and and that's beautiful. I love seeing that. And then they'll maybe post some religious stuff, which is fine, and they'll post maybe some of those philosophical kind of sayings or whatever. That's fine. But as far as politics are concerned, they were smart enough to know that that's probably, if you want to really divide a family up, that then you start posting that shit. Unfortunately, I guess me and my siblings, we weren't so smart. We were posting political shit up, and we ended up being where we don't even talk anymore. And I mean, I'll talk to them, but for some reason they don't want to talk to me. So yeah, that's what it is. Fart air. So I got so anyhow, and so that family, my mom's side of the family, doesn't really get political. I see their stuff all the time, and we have at least that kind of communication. I know it's not the same as being, visiting for real, but at least we do have that. My brother and sister, we don't even talk at all, and it's because of the politics, and it's because we are really diametrically opposed. Always have been. I've always been a Democrat, and I would be, I guess, what people would label as a liberal or a progressive. I've always been that. And my brother and sister, for some reason, I don't know, they've always been like extreme right wingers, and I'm not sure why. The only thing I can think of is we are really far apart in age. I'm 16 years older than my brother, 18 years older than my sister. So I grew up, I was a little kid in the 60s, and I was a teenager basically in the 70s, in my 20s and the 80s, so, and they were little kids in the 80s, and they were basically, I guess, teenagers in the 90s. I don't know, and really there was a whole different shift in the landscape as far as like certainly the media, with kind of the onslaught of Rush Limbaugh, and then later on with Fox News. That's the only difference I can think of, because when I was a kid, there was none of that, and I just I'm not really sure how I became, or how I always identified with Democrats, even when I was a little kid. I think it was because of the Kennedys and Martin Luther King. I was aware of all those when I was, I'm 6, 7, 8 years old. I was about 3 when JFK was assassinated, but everyone still talked about JFK all through the 60s, almost like he was still alive. And then his brother was running for president, and then his brother gets assassinated. And I was very, very sad about that. I was a little older then. I was almost 7 going on 8, and I was very aware of that. And MLK got assassinated. I was very aware of that. And I was very sad because I liked those guys. I remember listening to their speeches. I remember actually watching RFK during his campaign. And I remember listening to MLK on the radio in California, and they would play on stations. Some of his events they would cover. I remember listening to him, and then hearing about when he was assassinated, and just being so sad about it. And I remember really hating Richard Nixon, and then watching Watergate when I was a little older, like 11, 12 years old. So I think that shaped maybe my political ideologies, because my parents never really were super political, but they would vote, but they never really, I don't remember them really saying like, I voted for this guy or I voted for that guy. They seemed to like the Kennedys. They seemed to like LBJ. And my dad was always up to that point. Later on, he would go into management, but at that point, he was always a union guy. He was a union officer in his local union. And so I knew that the Democratic Party was more of a pro-union, pro-labor party. I kind of assumed they were Democrats, but I don't really know for sure. If you want to know the truth, I don't know if they were or not, because in 1972, I remember telling my dad, talking about Watergate, and Nixon was up for re-election, and I remember, I'm just this little kid, right, like in 6th grade or whatever, and I remember having this kind of telling my dad, like, I hate Nixon, and because I think my dad was going off to vote. I think he's like, I'm going to vote or whatever, and I think I said something like, don't vote for Nixon, and he's a crook. He's a crook. He's no good. I've been watching the Watergate thing, man. He's a bad guy. He's a bad man, And then my dad came home, and I don't know if my dad was just fucking with me. I still to this day, I don't know who he actually voted for. I don't know if he voted for Nixon or what. Because those are kind of things I guess you don't really ask, like, who did you vote for or whatever. But I was in my room, and I had a dartboard set up in my room, and on the wall, of course. And I used to play darts, and I actually was fairly good at it. And I remember my dad came home, and he goes, I guess he came home from voting, and he's like, hey, I got something for you. And he handed me this little metal like a campaign pin, right, that people make when they're campaigning for an office. And I still have that pin somewhere, and it just said Nixon now. And he goes, here I got this for you. And he was kind of laughing, and I remember I just looked at it and I got so angry. I was just like, oh, I was so pissed off. And so I just went to my dartboard and I stuck that pin like right over the the bullseye. And I stepped all the way back far into my room. I took a dart. I remember I wound up and I just threw it like I was a pitcher, like I was Nolan Ryan, and I just threw it like overhand, and I drilled that dart right through that metal pin, almost dead center. Boom. And then my dad just said something like, man, all that anger, if you're gonna be angry like that, That's not going to do you good in life, you know. And then he just walked out, and then I just kind of felt stupid because I was like, you know, why am I so mad? And I don't know who he voted for. I just assumed he voted for Nixon, but he might have voted for McGovern. Was it McGovern? I don't know. I really don't know. It's, he probably voted for Nixon, for all I know. It seemed like everyone did because McGovern got his ass kicked so bad. But I remember in '68, after RFK got assassinated, and then Hubert Humphrey, won the nomination, the Democratic nomination. I remember that they liked both. You know, well, my dad liked him, and Humphrey, and my mom liked Humphrey. But Humphrey was from Minnesota, and my dad was from Minnesota. So I don't know if it was just mainly a Minnesota thing. It's getting kind of loud out there, or what? But I remember they liked Humphrey. But again, I don't know if they voted for Humphrey. They probably did. But then in '72, it was McGovern. McGovern got his ass kicked, and so I don't know who they voted for. I really don't know. But they, in those days, and there really was a lot of talking about politics, at least in our house. And I think maybe because there wasn't as much of it on the news. So, I mean, or there wasn't like Fox so-called news. I mean, we had the nightly news. We had the network news, like Walter Cronkite or John Chancellor or whatever, you know, on the networks. And it was all, and say what you want. I mean, that's all pretty straightforward news. I know the right wingers would like to say that it's liberal news and it's liberal bias and all this kind of bullshit. But you know, those guys, they were old school journalists, and it was pretty much just straightforward news. You know, there wasn't these guys weren't stating their opinions. They were newsmen, and they would state the news. You know. And that's really all you got. This is before cable, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So when we would watch the news as a family, or just, you know, because the TV would be on and maybe it'd be dinner time and we'd have the TV playing and we'd watch the news while we were eating dinner or something. And, you know, there was never anything like, oh, yeah, those crazy liberals or those crazy right wingers or whatever, or those conservatives. There was none of that. It was just like, oh my goodness, that's awful that there's that this happened or that happened or whatever. And then later on, you know, like I said, that's probably the difference between my sister and brother and me. Because then it really wasn't until like the late '80s when you started getting like Rush Limbaugh, and you started getting more and more of the political stuff on the radio. And I was out of the house. By then I was working at the post office, and I was married, and had my own life going on. So then my brother and sister, they were still like little kids growing up, and that's when there started to be more and more of, you know, political talk and really heavily slanted, you know, right winger stuff with like Rush Limbaugh or whatever. And then once Fox News came on, you know, they would watch that, and it was in the house, and that I'm sure all that shit really influenced them. And I'm just trying to say that that's the difference between them and me. I mean, like when I was in the house growing up, like I said, the news we watched was just straightforward news. It wasn't like Fox News. It was just like the network news. And then everything else we watched was just like, you know, Star Trek and shit like that or whatever, and TV shows. You know, it wasn't. We didn't spend a lot of time on politics. You know, so that's the difference, I guess, is in the '80s and '90s. and onward, politics, political talk shows really got boosted into the really into the mainstream. We're talking about mainstream media, then that's mainstream media. When when radio companies can put shows like Rush Limbaugh on, just put them on 800, 900,000 stations across the country and flood markets and put them on multiple stations in the same market and just prop them up financially, then I'd say that's pretty mainstream, you know. I think what a lot of people like to call mainstream media, they talk about it being like liberal biased or whatever. Well, no, it's really, I don't like to say conservative because who the fuck even knows what conservative is? I like to say right wing because to me they're just everything that's right of center, you know. But so Kiki Streets, yeah, says he's happy his parents weren't liberals. I mean, we're liberals. Sorry about that. And Jolie says my dad started with Rush Limbaugh. I had to listen to that crap in the car sometimes. Yeah, see, by the time Rush Limbaugh came around, I was out of the house, like I said, and but that's what my brother and sister probably got subjected to, was Rush Limbaugh and all that. And then later on, it was Bill O'Reilly, even though he was on TV, but he had a big radio show, and then all of that whole lineup had all their own radio shows and stuff. And you just listen to that constantly over and over again. I guess it's gonna really shape your philosophy and your way of thinking. And that's, I guess that's the difference between my brother and sister and me. Like I said, my brain got shaped by just the events. First of all, living through the 60s, it was kind of scary, actually. I mean, it was kind of depressing. Not all of it. I mean, there was good times and happy times. You're a kid, so you're going to have happy times and stuff. You know, play with their friends and play in the summertime and, you know, on summer vacation and all that stuff. But then you hear on the nightly news the body counts from Vietnam, and you're seeing footage from Vietnam, from pretty graphic footage, I remember. And you get this daily body count of Americans and of the like North Vietnamese and all that kind of stuff, and you know, the fatalities, the killed in action, the missing in action, all that. They would have, it was like a daily scoreboard on the news, so you would see that every day on the news, and then the ghost of JFK really, I think, hung over the 60s, throughout the whole 60s. That was very still prominent event, even though it happened in 63. That assassination was just kind of hanging there through the whole time. And then you had the Vietnam War just escalating, and like I say, all those body count numbers every day. And then you had Martin Luther King get assassinated, and then Robert Kennedy got assassinated just within months of each other. I mean, it was like, what is going on with this world? And then you had like weird shit like Manson, and you know, and all this shit going on. It was kind of a scary time, but like I said, it's not like I dwelt in this fear. I mean, I had good times and happy times too, but it still was something that kind of shapes you, you know. I think that kind of forms your way of thinking about things. And you know, and in the 70s, we finally got rid of Nixon. Nixon got us out of Vietnam because, and I don't think because he was some sort of, all of a sudden, some sort of into peace, but he saw that the tide was turning as far as public opinion, and he could see the protests, all the war protests, and he could see his popularity going down and everything else. So he's like, okay, I'm going to get us out of there. So he got us out of there rather hastily and everything, but he did it. And then the 70s were basically, you know, disco and, you know, and partying and all that kind of stuff. So it was weird. It wasn't really a real political time, I don't think. You know, all that. It was more about just, I think, trying to get over the 60s and the early 70s, trying to get over Vietnam, trying to get over Watergate. And in the 60s, that it was just party time. By the time I was in high school, and especially by my junior and senior years, it was party time was on. It was just party like it's 1999, and that thought really 1999 wasn't even around yet, but it was just like party till you puke, you know. That was my motto. And everyone was partying, everyone was getting high, almost everyone. I mean, I shouldn't say everyone, of course not everyone, but I mean, it was very common. People were getting high, people, whatever drug you could get, you know. It was coke was the big thing. Speed was more affordable, and then pot, of course, and then whatever booze you could get. It was just party time, and that was just my little world. I mean, from the late 70s, but I think that really, as soon as we got out of Vietnam and through the mid 70s, and I think the whole country was just trying to let off some steam of the shitty 60s and early 70s, you know, of all that war and just having a White House that was so corrupt and everything. And so by the time my brother and sister were like in their teens, then so you're looking in the you know, the 90s. We're coming out of 12 years of Reagan and Bush, going into Clinton, and everything is more politicized. You've got all the, you know, the Rush Limbaughs and everything, and people were talking about, you know, right and left more, I think, and we're saying we're dividing up, you know, by that time, by the 90s, you know. I gotta put these down. Either that or I gotta turn the AC back on. It's a nice cool breeze, so it's just there was a truck over there and he left, and he was kind of loud. Oh yeah, so be sure to like, subscribe, and there's the times on the graphic. Oh, I haven't really won any awards yet, but I predict I will be probably winning some type of award for this type of graphic content. Oh wait, not graphic in that sense, but you know, it's a graphic. It's not really. But anyhow, hey, they call me Rose is in the house. Hello there. I don't know if there's a delay thing going on because I'm actually shooting the show from my iPad, and I'm looking at the chat on my iPhone, and there is a delay. So, about, I think, 8 seconds. I guess in case someone cusses and I can hit the... that doesn't happen. That doesn't work here. Anyhow, they call me Rose. How you doing, Rose? And where you been? So Jolie says, kind of like the Roaring Twenties after the Spanish flu. I was hoping the post-COVID and post-Trump era would be like that. Everybody coming to their senses and partying. I'm all for that. Let's party. I mean, I'm not really gonna start doing, you know, lines of Coke in speed. Okay, I don't even hardly drink, but you know, you can still party without that, right? You know, I could party with a cup of coffee, or I might have a beer. You know, but yeah, party. That's party in the sense of let's go and have a good time. We don't have to start, you know, railing up. But and those, yeah, they should be. Those should be some type of award. Anyhow, they call me Rose. Work is driving me nuts. Hope you're well. What do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking, Rose? I mean, just generally, you don't have to give me specifics, but like, why is it driving you nuts? Is it nutty customers or nutty boss, or just the work itself is nutty? Do you work in a nut shelling factory? And they're going faster and faster, like the Lucy episodes. I don't know. I wonder where Mike Malloy is. Why is he not dropping in? I thought he was going to visit me. Where's Cool Frog? Where's my right wing faction? You know, I have a faction. I've had factions. I have my left wing liberal faction, and I have my right wing faction. I'm a all faction kind of guy. You know. I love all you guys. They call me Rose. Boss is great. It's the customers. Wouldn't you know it? I do customer service for insurance. We deal with different companies. Boy, that must be, yeah, customer service. That must be never a dull moment. Yeah, the chocolate episode is a classic. Yeah, you got to really sometimes just take a deep breath when you're dealing with customers. And I know some people hate this expression, but you got to remember the customer is always right, and that doesn't mean that they are always right. That just means you have to act like they're always right. You know what I mean? I just verbally slap them sometimes. Okay, well, I bet you that feels good, right? So, but sometimes, yeah, people can just be such assholes, and it's got to be tough to take that. But like I say, just take a deep breath, verbally slap them if you want to, and you know, refocus your chi, whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. So, but you know, not with insurance. They do need to obey the regulations, and yeah, they can be rebels about it. Oh, so people are trying to skirt around things, huh? Yeah, I can see that. A lot of trucks going by right now. And today, if you guys want to see, I'm in California. I am in, we got some nice blue skies today. I really wish that this little cafe would just clean out those bushes right there. It would look so much better, don't you think? If they just go down to Home Depot, get a couple day laborers. Oh, that's not really good for like unions or shit. Well, whatever. Get somebody, go hire a gardener or whatever. Just take that shit out or trim it or something. Look, it looks really. It's just a bad look, because otherwise, you know, I'm kind of back lot here, but you know, it has like a rock. It's like a river rock siding on the thing. It's got the chimney driving by. What was that guy? Where did that guy come from? Anywho, but if they would just trim out those fucking bushes, it would look so much better. And it wouldn't. They could do that in like an hour. Hell, maybe I should just do it. Maybe I should just walk the walk, right? Maybe I should. Oh, but you know, it's not my business, not my property. If it was my property, those fucking bushes would be out and that tree that's kind of on the other side of the wall, I would probably take that out too. You'd be surprised how little things like that could really make a difference. Because to me, when I see those scraggly bushes right there, I almost wonder if the place is even open. Like, is it abandoned? Now, of course, there's some vehicles here, so you can judge it by that. But meaning that there's customers here. But when I see just like an overgrowth and bushes like that, it almost makes me wonder, like, what's the quality too of the cleanliness inside? Are they running? Are they clean? And I got to tell you, I had breakfast this morning, and the food was really good and everything. But the coffee cup that she brought the coffee to me in, the coffee cup was dirty. Okay, and I had to ask for another cup. So you got a dirty coffee cup, and then you have your landscaping that looks like it's just been in like an abandoned building or something. That's 2 strikes, man. I know I'm getting all negative all of a sudden because I like this place. This is like the 4th time I've eaten here this year. After living here my whole life, and I don't think I ever ate here before. If I did, it was when I was a little kid, and I don't remember it because this place has been here forever. But why am I getting so negative Nelly all of a sudden? I guess it's a burning thing. It was, every time I come here, those bushes bug the hell out of me, and I just had to say something. Finally, it came out. It finally, my feelings about those ugly, scraggly looking bushes, and I know it's probably, those look almost like they're just native to the area, but everything has a place, and that's not the place for those bushes. I'm gonna zoom in because I don't think you guys, I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm putting down. I think it looks hideous. I'm sorry, that's just me. If you agree, let me know. If you think I'm way off base and being an asshole, let me know about that too. And maybe on the video feed here, maybe it doesn't look as bad as in real life. I don't know. I just don't like it. I just do not like it. I think it looks like it's run down. It makes the place look run down to me. And here's this truck. I think this is the 2nd time this guy has been here this morning. Anyhow, so that's just my feelings about it, about the landscaping. I don't know why I went on that little rant. I just felt like doing it. Yeah, it needs better curb appeal. Yeah, or some colored plants. Something. I mean, because I realize that they're just coming out of COVID. They probably just barely survived. They're probably lucky that they're still here. Maybe the only reason they are here is because this restaurant has been literally, I don't know, 80 years maybe. And it looks like it might be a house in the back. Maybe the people might just live here. They might just own it free and clear. That's probably the only reason this restaurant didn't go out of business during COVID, because so many places did. So they're just lucky to be alive, really. So here I am ragging on them about the bushes. But I think it wouldn't take too much to just go around, and if you're not going to put in something, like plants or something more, I don't know, something but that would take time and that would take maintenance, then I think the best thing is just clear it out. Just make it free, and you could put more little colorful plants or something around the front, because the front this is like the side, and the front is over in the front. So yeah, I don't mean to rag on them. I know it's been tough times. and it looks like they made it through it because every time I've come here, there's always people coming in and out, and customers, you know. So that's a good thing. And but like I said, like opinions are like fill in the blank, I guess. And I got one, and that was one right there. That was one of my opinions, and I just saw myself wiping my nose with this napkin, and it looked really kind of gross. So I apologize for that. But I do have a runny nose. So what do I do? I gotta do something. Guess what I could do? Here's what I could do. I just do like that. So when that shot, now I can do the whole thing with the nose. I can even blow my nose. And then you folks, you don't have to see that. That's what I should do from now on. Why wasn't I? Why? See, I think about this stuff, but it's like after the fact. Live and learn. See, I got the windows open, and now there's a freaking ass fly. At least one, maybe two flies in here. That's why I hate opening windows. But fortunately, there's only, I think, the one. Hopefully he'll fly back out. So anyhow, yeah, I know. Well, I've never noticed the dirty cup before. That was the first time. And I've never noticed anything dirty inside before. It's always been nice. But today it was the dirty coffee cup. It wasn't like real super dirty. Like when she brought it to me, she probably didn't even notice it, but it was like right next to the handle, or like the little handle thing, and kind of just off to the side, like where my lips would go, but it was like kind of off to the side. It looked like there was a couple little dots of like strawberry jam. So I'm thinking, okay, someone was eating toast or something with some strawberry jam, and it was on their face, and they were drinking coffee, and that was their strawberry jam that was on their mouth, right? And so I was like, I cannot drink out of this cup. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick, but she's gonna have to give me a new cup. So I just said, I think when she came back, I just go, I think this one's a little dirty. Could I just get another cup? And she's like, oh yeah, no problem. And so Liberal Dan is in the house. Hey, Liberal Dan, how you doing? We've been talking about just stuff, opinions being like, you know, everyone's got one. So anyhow, like I don't hear, I guess all the time this year. Like I said, I've never eaten here until this year. I've passed by this place a million times. I grew up in this area. I live in Nevada now, but the first 59 years of my life, I grew up in this area, and I've passed by here either as a truck driver or just as a person going skiing up in the mountains, or just a person going down the hill to San Bernardino. I've passed through here a billion times, and I've never stopped here and ate here until this year. And now I think this is the fourth time, third or fourth time I've stopped here this year. And those are the first times in my life. And I was actually kind of, when I walked in, because from the outside it looks really small and tiny. When you walk in, it's actually kind of a great big giant, well, I don't know, giant, but it's like a big dining area. I was surprised at how big and roomy it was inside. And I think right next door is like a little liquor store or a convenience store. I haven't ventured that far or down around the building. Maybe on the next trip I'll go down to there and see what they got, and see if it is if it is even that. I don't know, because I think they might do even ski rentals here. I'm not sure. But anywho, so we got Liberal Dan. I don't know if Rose is in there, but make sure to hit the like button. I'm only seeing one like. I don't know if this thing updated or not. on my end. Oh, but over here I see 4 thumbs ups. So let's make sure, and we got 5 people. It looks like, so someone's holding out, man. Don't hold out on me. Don't hold out on me. I need one more like. Who didn't give me the like? Was it Rose? Did you not give me the thumbs up? Okay, I don't mean to call anybody out. I shouldn't do that. It's not fair. That's not fair. But so we got Liberal. It would be cool if Mike Malloy would show up, and then I would have a representative from the right, and then I would have a representative from the left in Liberal Dan, and it would be coming together on the Trucker John Show. It's a place where we all come together and we work out our differences, and at the end of the day, we just pat each other on the back or put our arm around you and say, hey, I still love you, bro. And I mean that. And that even goes for my crazy right-wing nutjob cousin, Danny Rock. That goes for my brother. That goes for my sister. It goes for a whole bunch of people. Even if we never talk, I still love you. Anywho, hey, Rose, they call me Rose. I hit the like button when I joined. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. And come together right now over me. Who? This guy. This guy who's got, I got that a long time ago. I mean, I got it when I got it, you know, like last year. Fully vaxxed, fully boosted. Coming at you boosted. I'm boosted. So, anywho, so yeah, Liberal Dan, you do the Nerdy Dan, not to be confused with the Dirty Dan, you do the Nerdy Dan. And affiliate on Twitch means people can now do paid subs on my gaming channel. The best part is they can do it for no extra charge with Amazon Prime. Okay, now Dan, Liberal Dan, not to be confused with my crazy right-wing nutjob cousin Dan, but Liberal Dan. So I got 2 Dans that come in here. My crazy right-wing nutjob cousin Danny Rock usually watches afterwards because he's either working or he's sleeping. I think he does mainly nighttime driving, so he might be sleeping right now. So shh, quiet. But Liberal Dan, answer me this. Because I always hear House Sparks say, like, to sign up for his show, subscribe, and if you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. I have Amazon Prime, and I've gone on there, and I can't figure out how to use my Amazon Prime account because I'm stupid. That's number one, especially when it comes to like computer shit, or whatever. I'm just old and I'm dumb. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break your bubble. I know you thought I was a genius. Breaking news. Trucker John is dumbass. So I don't know how to use the Amazon Prime to get the subscription or whatever. I have a Twitch account, but I don't know how to do like to use that free from another to subscribe to somebody else or whatever. So, you know, I don't know if it's a really complicated thing. You don't have to write it in here, but if it's an easy thing, maybe you could just. I have Twitch. Called. I don't even remember what it's called. Maybe Jolie remembers because we were on there. We were on your stream thing a few nights ago, watching you play that game. Oh, and I went on Twitch, and I think Jolie and somebody else was on. If you remember, what's my name? Do you remember really? On Twitch, is it Veg? I'd be, because sometimes I go by Veg, sometimes I go by Trucker John, sometimes I just go by John Fowler, whatever. And I have all these I'm so social. I have so many different socials. I just can't keep them all straight. It's just, it's, in my head, bouncing around. Lots of room in there. But anyhow, so, oh my God, I'm getting inundated with flies. I see two now. Gosh darn it. But yeah, he even flew out. Thank you for flying out, fly so much. Don't come back. I just saw him fly out the window, and it was because it's so hard to get him to get out. Cause they're little bastards. Like I'll open the if they're in here and the windows are up, I'll open the windows and then they won't go out. But that one just hightailed it out of here. So thanks, fly. Thank you. It must have been a right winger fly. He's like, I'm getting out of here. Anyhow, so okay, so that's right. I did name a cultist after you. Oh yeah, it is vegged. Okay, so is it just vegged? So anyhow, I'm on there, and I don't go on there very often because it seems like veg 3, yeah. And veg 3, you want I'm veg 3? I'll tell you this, and this is an exclusive. Only people who are watching this right now will know why. A lot of times it'll be veg 3 or it'll be John Fowler 3 or whatever. It's because I'm the third. I was named after my dad. My dad was named after my grandpa. So my grandpa was Ross Fowler. My dad was John Ross Fowler Jr. And I'm John Ross Fowler III. And guess what? My son is named John Ross Fowler IV. I don't know. Some people don't like that shit. I just thought it was cool. So there you go. Yeah, Veg 3. Yeah, Truckatron exclusive. You don't just get that, unless you're a member. Or unless you just click on it and watch it. But other than that, you wouldn't get it, right? So anyhow, I have problems, because like I say, I have a 6th generation iPad, which means it's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And I have an iPhone 10, which means it's like 3 or 4 years old. I'm due for updates or whatever. But whenever I'm on Twitch, it seems like it drops. Like sometimes I'll play CSR2 on there, and where you can do, you go live and then people can watch you play, just like you were doing on your game. Playing along, and I think everyone's watching, and then I'll go back and it's like it drops, it quit. It's just, that's my equipment. Always on the road, I'm kind of dependent on whatever signal I can get, whether it's Wi-Fi or whether it's just a cellular signal. Sometimes it could be spotty, so shit. So it's, I don't know if it's just me or what, but that's why I don't use Twitch that often, because it just seems like, get out. It just seems like it just drops a lot on me. So that's why I don't do Twitch that much, because I'll be playing and I'm thinking everyone's watching this amazing racing that I'm doing and looking at all my bitchin' cool cars, and they're not, because the thing dropped, the signal dropped or whatever. So, but when I was watching Liberal Dan, it didn't drop, so I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And that's my woe. Those are my woes. But anyhow, I'm looking at the clock, and it is 10:21 p.m. AM. Here in Pacific time zone, and I need to get going. I've got, I think, 300 and something miles to my destination. About 6 hours, I guess. So I should probably get going. Let's see. I have 337 miles. And if that is from this point, sometimes you stop, it'll give you some other point. But I think right. I can push the reroute button and it'll just start from right here. Let's see how many miles. 337. Okay, so I got 337 miles to get to Modesto, California. Yeah, says Julie, I could probably help him figure out. Oh, I told him what type of equipment he could that would be more reliable on the road. You know, a lot of tech stuff. Yeah, Liberal Dan, I was wondering, like I say, this is kind of like I call it my cab studio because it sounds cool. But you know, I'm doing these lives from my truck, from the interior of my truck. And sometimes I'm in a place where the signals are pretty decent, and then I'm not. And I've been thinking about getting maybe because I am an Apple guy. I like Apple products. I was thinking about maybe getting a Mac, one of the new Mac AirBooks or whatever they call them. And that would definitely be like an upgrade from this Apple iPad, 6th generation. Or if it would just be the same, but it's like, oh, I got a nice new iPad. I mean, a nice new, you know, like MacBook. You know, if it really matters, I don't know. Because it's not doing too bad. Like today, I haven't had any problems. Like some places, it's because of where I'm at. If I'm out in the middle of Wyoming, even if I'm in town, I was in Laramie, which is a big college town in Wyoming, and the signal kept dropping. It was a couple months ago doing the live stream, and I eventually just had to stop because it just kept buffering and everything else. So, but that's Wyoming, you know, and they do stupid shit in Wyoming. More liberals need to move there. Wouldn't take much. Yeah, we get 20 or 30,000 liberals to move to Wyoming. We could flip that fucking state. Anyhow, so, but the thing I would like to do, instead of having these award-winning graphics, I mean, I would like to learn maybe how to, I could put a green screen up behind me, and where I could actually put up an article or a clip, and I could kind of, but better, because I'm not better than House Party. Do, maybe I could do little funny things, and we could break down clips he does. And with this setup, I can't do that. And I don't even know if it's something you could do on the road in a truck. Not spending $1 million, right? So I guess the budget is important. Okay, what's my budget? I mean, if I bought a new MacBook, you're looking at, what are they, a couple grand? I don't want to spend any more than that probably. So I don't want to spend more than $2 grand. Let's just say that. That's my max to upgrade my in-cab studio. Let's max it out at $2 grand. Would it make a difference? Would it make a difference, or is nothing really? Like I say, it's just been $1 million. Is this about the best I'm going to be able to do? And it's just come down to then it comes down to my own technical knowledge and know-how, you know, to try and upgrade and do things maybe a little bit better. I don't know. Just kicking around some stuff. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and start my, I have to do what's called a pre-trip. So I'll start my pre-trip. I'll do a little walk around. Make sure that there's nothing dangling or broken or leaking. Make sure there's no flat tires. And Kinky Streets, you have a great day too, sir. Ooh, I just threw out a pronoun, and without really probably knowing. Anyhow, I'll see you, Kinky Streets. Probably see you over there on the Sparks program this afternoon. I think he's going on today. I know he's been doing a lot of traveling and everything. So, and his schedule's been kind of weird. So, but I think he's going on again today, 3 p.m. Pacific. A lot of times, just know I am there in the chat lurking, but I'm driving, so I can't engage in the chat. I just have the audio, have a Bose speakers, the Bluetooth, and I listen to shows all day while I'm driving through that speaker. But so I'm there in spirit. I might not be able to leave a comment or even a hello, but you know, I'm there. Just when you're seeing the chat and you don't see John, just go, you know, I bet he's listening. He's on the road right now driving in that truck on a highway or a freeway, and he's here. Just think of that. Okay. All right. So Tiki Streets, do your errands. Yes, do those errands and take care. And I am in a pre-trip mode right as we speak. And I'm everybody who came up today in the chat, thanks for the thumbs ups or the likes. Thanks for subscribing. If you guys can share, try to get the word out, try to get more subs. I'd like to get more, some more subs. It's kind of weird how the subs go. It seems like I get them in clumps. So I'll get sort of 30, 40, or 50 in a matter of a few days or something, and then I won't get anything for like weeks. It's kind of weird. And then about another big clump will come along. So I need a clump. Give me a clump. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Tuesday, Thursday is 9 a.m. Pacific time is when regularly scheduled is. I might do some impromptu lives here. So just whenever you see me, just go on and just give it a thumbs up. Say, if you're busy, say hi, and then say, gotta go, bye. Lunchtime for Double Dan. Yeah. That's right, you're in New Orleans or Louisiana. Yeah, you're lunchtime for you guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna be hitting the road, and I'll be stopping for lunch in a few hours. Probably, I usually stop around 2:30 Pacific time for lunch, and then take it from there. So once again, thanks so much for showing up. I appreciate it. It's always fun to have. It's fun to have everybody in here, and it really is just. I just say real quick. I've been having fun doing it. I don't know how fun it is for you, just to see some guy babbling on, but it is fun. I've been thinking about doing it for a long time, and I don't know what to do or how to format a show, or and I think I was not doing it because I was overthinking it or whatever. I don't know. So I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna do it, and then that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, and maybe as it goes on, I'll get better. Hopefully, I'll get better. The show will get better, and I'll be here. So. For being here, I'm just gonna turn that around. You can see these gals here, these choppers, they're Harleys, and away they go.
OTR. Who knows where I'll be live streaming from?
Ciao, everybody.
It could be a rest area. It could be a truck stop. Or maybe even a Walmart parking lot.
That's right.
That's right. Every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's the Trucker John OTR live stream.
Thanks, Rose. Take care.
That's right. It's going down. It's going down. Hello, my name is John Fowler. Hello, my name is John Fowler.